All right. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Next Genius Scholarship Program Award Ceremony 2025-2026. Congratulations to all the scholarship winners. It's such an exciting day, and I'm sure you're all waiting to see the results, and we'll get there shortly. This year, we had close to 3,000 students apply to us for scholarships, of which 456 were shortlisted for the second round. Of those 456 students, less than 200 were eventually interviewed, and now we have 92 scholarship winners here on this call today. And 15 of you have won full tuition scholarships. So this is very, very exciting. Joining us for this very special occasion, we have Dhruva Bhatt. Dhruva is the co-founder and the director of Lumiere Education, and he studied economics at Harvard and went on to earn his MPhil and DPhil in international development from the University of Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar. Growing up in Chennai and attending a local CBSE school, Dhruva first, Dhruva's first exposure to global education came not from a classroom but through international debate competitions where he represented India. Those experiences opened doors that he hadn't imagined, and ultimately that led him to study abroad where his life trajectory changed. So he was just in your place a few years ago. At Harvard, he actively sought research opportunities, working closely with professors and immersing himself in academic inquiry that shaped both his career and purpose. Today, through Lumiere Education, Dhruva makes these world-class research opportunities available to talented and ambitious high school students. Dhruva, welcome, and we invite you to share your journey before we get going with the presentation. Dhruva, over to you.
Thank you, Devesh, and congratulations to all of you. That is an incredible achievement to, first of all, have had the courage and initiative to put your names forward to go through the application process. I know that requires putting yourself in a position of vulnerability where you have to do awkward things like talk about yourself and try and explain why you deserve to win something like this, and then to go through the process, which also incorporates feelings of setback and failure. And despite all of that, making it through and being here at the winner ceremony, I think is an incredible achievement. So congratulations to every single one of you. And all of you are at such an amazing transition point. I still remember my final year of school. As Devesh mentioned, I grew up in Chennai in South India, and I went to a school that was academically strong, but not particularly internationally motivated. So a lot of the students in my school were like a lot of Indian students hoping to become doctors or engineers or chartered accountants. And for me, I was interested in a whole other set of things. As Devesh mentioned, did debate. And so I was interested in questions like what caused some countries to be rich and other countries to be poor? What caused ethnic conflict and how could we prevent it? What were the roots of technological innovation and how do you dig deeper into it? And I didn't feel like the standard paths available to me of doing a bachelor's degree in engineering or even economics in India would necessarily have allowed me to explore those questions in the level of depth that I wanted to. But I also didn't feel like I really had any other choice because growing up in the school that I did, in the family that I didn't know a single person who'd gone outside of India for undergrad. I knew people who'd gone on to do their master's degrees or MBAs abroad, and that was considered a very well worn, well trodden path to a school in America. But I had no idea that you could even apply abroad for undergrad. What changed that for me was through debate, I got the opportunity to represent India at the World Schools Debating Championships in 2011, 12, and 13. In 2011 in Scotland, I came across the team that was representing the UAE, and the team representing UAE were all older than me. I was 15 at the time; they were all 17, so they were all seemed really cool and well educated and well traveled. And interestingly, the competition was happening in August, and all of the members of that team were then going on to university. One was going to NYU, one was going to Yale, one was going to Stanford, and one was going to Penn. And that stopped me in my tracks. I realized that this was something that people who were growing up outside of America could aspire to and hope to do. And so I started learning more about university systems abroad. The idea of doing a liberal arts degree where I didn't have to decide my major going in, where I had time to explore different topics and then pick a major in my second year really appealed to me as an indecisive, curious 17-year-old. And so I decided to apply, take the shot and apply to universities. I applied to about 11 universities. The first decision I got was a rejection. And I said, okay, great. I guess I'm just not going. But luckily, as time passed, on the day that the rest of the decisions came out, I ended up getting into a couple of the universities I applied to. So I'd gotten into Amherst, Emory, and Harvard. And yet, I didn't let myself get fully excited about that acceptance because I knew that if I didn't get financial aid, there's no way my family would have been able to afford to go. So I told some people very tentatively, very carefully that this has happened, but I really don't know whether I'm going to be able to go or not. And I waited for another couple of weeks until the financial aid package arrived, and Harvard gave me a full ride based on their assessment of our family's needs. And that's when I really said, okay, I guess this is happening. I'd never been to America before. I'd never traveled outside of a couple of countries that I got to go to because of debate. And so the first time that I traveled to the US was in August of 2023 to start my semester at Harvard. And I think those 4 years at Harvard in undergrad and studying abroad totally changed the trajectory of my life. And I think there were really five things that I took away from my time there, which I hope that all of you can also take away from your time studying at all the incredible institutions represented on this call. The first one was the importance of learning to think critically and write well. I think the education system in India made me such a hard worker. I still remember before my math board exam, I did every question that was in the textbook twice over because I knew that the questions in the exam were going to be some of the questions from the textbook. And as long as I knew those inside out, I would do well. And that work ethic really serves Indian students well. But I think where a lot of our education systems fail us is in allowing us to feel confident in our ability to think for ourselves, to critically engage with concepts and say, I actually disagree with some of the things that my teacher is saying. I actually disagree with some of the things that the textbook is saying. And here's the perspective that I have and the arguments that I want to make. And then being able to communicate that effectively, both verbally and through writing, is something that I developed over my time at Harvard. It was not easy. In my first semester, we had a course called expository writing, which is an introduction to writing. And I wrote what I thought was a really good essay. And then I went into my instructor's office for feedback, and she'd marked my essay all through with red and had so many comments that I could only hold it together until I left the room. I came back to the street. I was in the middle of Harvard Square and I burst out crying there. And I had to call my aunt because it was too late in the night in India to call my parents. And I called up my aunt and said, I really don't think I can do this. And she calmed me down and said, you know what? There's a reason they selected you. There's a reason they brought you there. Take the feedback that your professors are giving you and learn what they say, learn what they're trying to tell you, and implement it. And luckily, I did end up doing well in that course and ended up doing well at university overall. But I think those initial kind of hurdles of learning how to think critically and write well was super crucial and has become a lifelong skill for me. Number two, and kind of connected to that, is learning to become your own person. I think for so much of our time in high school, we're kind of a product of our circumstances, of the environments we're in, the people that we surround ourselves around. And so their dreams become our dreams, their values become our values. And at university, you get to be your own person. You get to choose the classes you want to take. You get to choose the extracurriculars you want to do. You get to decide when you wake up, when you go to bed. You get to decide if you want to have cereal for dinner, which was such a wild concept to me. And in doing those things, you also start to think about what you actually like, what you value in the world, and being able to develop that sense of independent identity where you say, these are the things that I care about in my life. This is the type of person that I want to be. It's such a magical opportunity that only being at university gives you. And it's something that will then shape all of the decisions that you make after that, whether in terms of your career or further education, in terms of romantic relationships, personal life, where you live. All of those stem from who you are and what your values are. And university is an incredible opportunity to be able to get that. The third set of things that I learned from being at university is learning to build skills outside the classroom. I took economics class, I majored in economics, I did economics in undergrad. I learned about statistics and regressions and causal relationships, but I learned just as much, if not more, outside of the classroom. By going every weekend to debating tournaments with the Harvard debate team and eventually becoming president of the team, I learned how to navigate working in incredibly stressful, time pressured conditions with other people who are just as ambitious and nervous and excited as me. By running a conference in India called the Harvard College US India Initiative Conference, I learned how to present myself professionally, to write emails and communicate with people who are politicians and sports people and business people in India and make a good impression with them. I learned what it took to manage the logistics of organizing an event, of organizing flights and finances and sponsorship. And so all of these skills outside the classroom, I think, are just as important in your ability to get a career, to build something out once you're done with school, and the incredible diverse array of extracurricular opportunities available at the types of universities represented on this call and by the Next Genius institutions, I think will be a truly magical and transformative experience for all of you. The fourth was building relationships for life. As Devesh mentioned, I now run a company called Lumiere that does online and in-person extracurricular programs for high school students. We do programs in research and internships and professional development. But I run that, and the reason that I started that was because I met someone in undergrad, this guy named Steven, who's my co-founder and one of my best friends now. He and I met in a research program in undergrad. We stayed connected through that period and ended up starting this together many years later, even though when in college, neither of us would have thought that we'd be doing this. So those types of conversations that you have, those types of relationships that you have in totally unexpected ways can end up changing your lives. I made most of my best friends and people that I call among the most important people in my life at university. I form professional connections. Some of you may even find the loves of your life at university. And so being able to form those relationships for life is one of the magical things about going to university. And I'm excited to see how that plays out for all of you. And then finally, the big thing with the types of institutions that Next Genius allows you to access is being able to experience the world and its cultures. Many of us haven't had the opportunity to spend meaningful time outside of the city that we grew up in and were born in. Maybe we've done short trips, maybe we've traveled with our family, but to really live in a new place with its own customs, its own cultures, its own traditions, its own language sometimes can be a life-changing experience because it shakes you out of your comfort zone. But more importantly than just kind of like experiencing this and being able to say, hey, I've done this, it's cool, is that it also teaches you to be a flexible and adaptable human. And the 21st century truly rewards people who have that kind of adaptability. The world is going to change in ways that none of us could have anticipated. When I was in college from 2013 to 2017, no one had heard of AI, and the fact that there would be a chatbot that has the entirety of human knowledge within it that can provide and replace the work of thousands and thousands of people, if not millions, would have been unimaginable to us. And yet, because I had built the skills of resilience and adaptability and intercultural competence, I was ready to take on the changes in the job market that I had not expected to come. And I sincerely hope that all of you get the opportunity to do that as well. Those 5 lessons, being able to think critically and write well, becoming my own person, building skills outside the classroom, forming relationships for life, and being able to experience the world and its cultures have shaped who I am and everything that I've done since then. I would not have been an entrepreneur. I would not be someone who had the ability to embrace risk, identify opportunity, and build real long-lasting partnerships had it not been for that. And so I'll leave you with that, which is the person that you are right now will hopefully, ideally, be unrecognizable to the person that you are 4 years from now when you leave university. And the person that you will go on to be after that will be shaped by everything that happens in the next few years. I am so excited for that journey for all of you. I hope you find it as admittedly challenging, but rewarding and enjoyable as mine was. Congratulations again to all of you, and good luck for the next few years.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much, Dhruva, for those incredible insights and for sharing your story with us. And I'm sure these students are going to take these learnings to the college. Let, let me also take a moment before we jump into the awards. Let me also take a moment to thank Team Next Genius for putting in hours and hours of their hard work in supporting these students over the last few weeks, to our Next Genius partners for offering generous scholarships, and to the counselors who have trusted us in helping their students gain access to these scholarships. And to all the students, uh, remember, you're all winners. You're all winners. Yes. So whatever happens in the next few minutes, you are still winners. You've won these life-changing scholarships. 3,000 to the top 100. Yeah, you can check the it's almost 3%. Yeah, it's an incredible achievement, and you should be proud of yourself. Over the next few weeks and months, Next Genius team will continue to support you, help you, guide you with additional resources. So your journey with Next Genius doesn't end, but it begins now. So continue to be in touch with us so that we can help you better. So without any further ado, the moment that we've all been waiting for, the list of the winners. So starting with Capital University, the winners are, congratulations to all the winners. Center College, the winners are IE University. The winners are Ithaca College. Lynn University. Muhlenberg College. Syracuse. American University of Paris. And last but not the least, University of Charleston. Once again, congratulations to all the winners. We'll now open the breakout room so that you can go into the university rooms and celebrate. Before closing, once again, thank you so much, Dhruva, for gracing this occasion with your presence. It was fantastic to hear your your journey, and thank you for sharing your journey with all of us. And now to the breakout rooms.